And a private school could basically, you know, this isn't going to work out, you can take your kid elsewhere.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, as far as describing your son, he is verbal, and so yeah, it's well, one of the things that Sue and Tara, okay, the group that we all met at is a group led by Sue Galbach, who's a now retired occupational therapist, and Tara Marshall, who's a speech language pathology assistant. A lot of times, the non-autistic, well, so they understand autism from both a personal, professional point of view. Anyways, a lot of times non-verbal autistics will have, additional behavioral issues because they cannot adequately express what's going on. Right. And so the professionals, they mean well, but they're handling the situation completely contrary because that they really don't know what to do. Where your son, from what you're describing, has verbal communication skills. So and you haven't mentioned anything about him having any kind of outburst. So
no, he has behavioral issues, and I think that's actually our concern. And,
yeah.
and I think it was the same issue for this kid that was a grade ahead of our kids. He would disrupt the class.
Right.
If he was frustrated about something, this kid would apparently throw things, like grab something in the classroom and throw it at the teacher if she was trying to redirect him or whatever.
Yeah.
And they just can't have that happening throughout the class.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like, but he had an aide with him, and the aide was not able to deal with it.
I think she
sounds like maybe they need a better aide too.
Well, right, and we're experiencing some, I think, milder issues with our son now. But he can communicate verbally, but not at the level of his peers.
Okay.
So
yeah.
if he is frustrated about something, he may resort to a script, which is
right.
not exactly the right thing to say in
yeah.
that situation. Or he may, if he's really frustrated, lash out physically, which is what we're really concerned about.
Has he done this?
He has.
Okay.
He has.
So
okay,
yeah.
One example, and he's got some sensory issues. Both our kids do. So for example, in like, I don't know what you call it, homeroom, the first 30 minutes
right.
of class each day or whatever. One of the kids in his class, who's a close friend of his, I mean, he gets along real well with this little girl, but she's got a younger sister who comes. And my son is very anxious around little toddlers and babies that cry because the noise bothers him.
Right, okay.
And this little kid came up behind him at some other table and was excited about something and shrieked about it. And he was not happy, and from that kind of spoiled the next hour of class because he kept perseverating on, what is that kid coming back? Where's that noise? So he has a hard time resetting when something sets him off, and that just leads to problems. And so he's got some of the more classic problems that I think a lot of kids on the spectrum struggle with, and whether it's going to be to the level that we are going to be able to navigate the current school environment that he's in going forward, we don't know yet. My wife has sort of been looking around at other schools, and an interesting thing we've been finding is that a lot of the quote-unquote schools designed for students with special learning styles, quote-unquote learning disabilities of different stripes, maybe we're being a bit too cynical about it, but when you go and interview and we give them information about our son, they come across as very warm and receptive at helping kids with disabilities and all that, but it turns out they really only want kids of average or higher intelligence who happen to have some sort of learning disabilities. They don't want disruptive kids in their classroom.
Right, right.
So they're kind of the gifted kids that might be kind of quirky, a very high functioning kid with Asperger's, or the kid with ADHD. If you get them in the right environment, they do really well. Right. But they don't want a kid who's below average or not able to focus or not able. So we're we've been turned down actually at a couple of quote unquote schools that cater to kids with special needs.
Now, I have a question. Well, just because I work as a psych nurse, and sometimes we have like one-on-ones where a patient will require a staff member to be with that patient. And the reason I asked about the aide, and not necessarily they are maybe paid enough to be really good at it, but some of them are fantastic at it, and some of them are not very good. So just from my observation of the one-on-ones, the quality of the technician with the patient makes all the difference. So that's why I thought of that.
Well, the aide that we have with our son right now is someone actually that we carried through. She used to be one of our rehabilitation specialists that he's known for years, and she's
so that's good.
And when we brought her along into the school environment, thinking that would ease the transition from from one setting to another, and it
Right.
did. But you know, the challenges are getting more stringent
Yeah.
now that it's
Yeah.
you know, higher level academic expectations,
Right.
bigger class size. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
I understand that there is a, talking about, this special schools, there's one that is supposed to be autism specific. I don't know the name of it. Do you know which
There's
one?
actually-
Assist Academy?
There's a couple of
Yeah.
quote unquote autism schools around the valley.
Right.
Some are really geared towards kids with significant disability. I mean, the kids that have a lot of behavioral issues
Right.
and are nonverbal. I think the one that's known for that is Chrysalis Academy or something like that. But I think, you know, even though my son has more challenges than my daughter, I don't think he needs that kind of environment.
Okay.
You know,
Right.
but does he doesn't fit in, for example, to this other school that we just looked at. That's called New Way, and that's the one that has great, you know, great class size. They've got 2 teachers per classroom with, I think, a maximum of 10 kids. I mean, we thought he would probably do well in that environment because there would be less distractions. But they saw the fact that he currently needs a one-on-one aid and read some of his assessments as he was just transitioning from from pre-K to kindergarten, and they said, well, I don't think he's a good fit for us. So. Yeah.
I was just wondering, have you looked at AZ Assist Academy? That
I
may be more high school, but I don't know.
I don't know. Do they do grade school 1 through 12? Grades 1 through 12?
I wouldn't know offhand. I do know that it's an initiative that Debbie Weininger kicked off, but they may just be a special needs high school, but it would be focused on autism.
So it's another thing that we've sort of debated, you know, my wife and I, the issue of there are, you know, pure schools that are, all the kids there are basically kids on the spectrum. We spent, again, a lot of time and money through the SARC program with the hope that that integrated environment, and I didn't explain this before, there were, I think, up to 6 kids on the spectrum in that early intervention program with age-matched peers that were neurotypical, with the hope that the kids on the spectrum would actually pick up on some of the typical social behaviors of typically developing kids and not just be modeling off of each other with maybe less functional social behaviors. So to have done all that and kept him in a mainstream kindergarten setting this year, which he actually does enjoy, you know, doing a lot of the things with the other classmates, and you know, when he's on task, he can do the academics. But could he do that without an aid? Is, I guess, the unknown at this point. And you know, how would he handle some of the transition issues and so forth that he struggles with? But then would he be at a disadvantage because of that, because he's not able to model typical behavior or see typical behavior?
After I was adopted, we adopted a younger sister who had Down syndrome, and you know, this is a town of 20,000, so you know, we had some resources, but you know, not a lot, and so all the special ed kids were all put in together, and one of the things that's you know, that we observed is that my little sister was mimicking the behaviors of children with much more severe, you know, issues like drooling. You know, she started, you know, down on all fours drooling, which she didn't do that before, and so. And we realized, and the teachers observed it, and it's like, okay, she is specifically mimicking this specific boy in her class, and so there was that discussion that, you know, as far as, you know, whether or not that was the best environment for Kelly to be in, you know, that maybe that she needs to, you know, and so I was a kid myself, so I was involved with all the, you know, exact solutions to that, but they definitely made some modifications, you know, for her, you know, for those reasons, because she was doing that. So,
you know, the other factor that plays into that in terms of choosing a school, one of the issues is that when we had our kids assessed through the Scottsdale School District, we live in the Scottsdale area. if your kids are diagnosed with a particular, label, in this case, autism spectrum disorder, and you decide not to enroll your kids in the public school system, the resources, specifically financial resources that would have been allocated to your child in the public school system are portable. You can take them with you
Right.
if you choose to enroll your kid in a private school. So that's actually quite a bit of money that we're helping use to defray the cost of the private school that basically are granted to us by the school district
Right.
that our kids normally would have been attending had we gone through the public school system. If we then sort of enroll them in a charter school, which some of these autism specialty or other schools are, that money goes bye-bye. So, there is a financial disincentive to change our mind and go back into the public school system or a charter school system.
So you lose the money if you go into a charter school, or go into a private school?
You don't have that money to use as you see fit for your college education. You just have to take whatever services are offered by that charter school or public school again. Which, in the public school, our son would have been relegated to a self-contained classroom. They told us that.
Self-contained?
Meaning he's off in a room by
He's off by himself.
Oh, he's not mainstreamed, or he's just by himself?
They would have put him in a room by himself.
Really?
Which is borderline offensive.
Well,
sometimes.
that's what they said. I mean, they don't have the resources in the public school system to do much else with him.
Yeah,
Wow.
so,
Wow.
yeah.
So it was kind of a no-brainer. We weren't going to do that. We needed that assessment to then say, we got this assessment, we can then take that money and carry it to,
Right.
getting our kid in a better educational environment.
So,
Right, okay.
yeah, so parents have so much to try to assess, just trying to figure out the right school
Well, right,
to put their.
and part of the big reason I don't know details about the AZ Assist Academy is that my wife is really the one who's doing the lion's share of the scouting of the school, because I work,
Well,
5 days a week, and
I know if I was-
she's available to do it.
Yeah.
I can't, I know if I was in your position, I would probably approach her and say, have you heard about
Well,
this?
I mean, she knows, she's looked at, her day
Okay.
job these days seems to be going around
Right,
and looking,
yeah.
checking out schools, so.
Wow.
Well, we wish you the best,
Thank you.
and so, and one of these days, I want to meet your kids in person,
I'd love to too.
Yeah.
So, we've heard so much about them over these years, and,
We'll host some sort of event at a fun place where kids enjoy
okay,
doing things.
yeah,
Yeah.
we'll do that.
Because
So,
they would be climbing the walls after about 5 minutes in this room.
Yeah.
I don't know how your kids would take Will, but I always would take this, but I always have fun at the aquarium.
Mhm. Yeah, they enjoy aquariums. We've
Have
taken
you
them to
been,
aquariums.
I don't know if you've been to the one down at AC Mills.
That's in the mall.
It's
Well,
inside the
been a
mall.
while.
Well,
yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and close out this video now, because we're just basically
Chatting.
socializing. So anyway,
Right.
so I hope that the people watching this video online will find this information useful, and I really hope that it shows the value of having autistics and parents sitting together and sharing information with each other, because one of the things that I've been speaking out about over these years is that the autism community is so segregated. Parents meet here, autistics meet here, teachers meet here, and there is so much misunderstanding in each with each group about the other groups, and so much strife, and the only way that's going to be overcome is to break down these walls of segregation, and for us to come together as one community, no matter what your level of functionality is, and just work together, instead of that the high functioning autistic self advocates versus the parents of the low functioning autistics. That is detrimental to all of us. We need to not be fighting. We need to realize how much value can be derived by us by us recognizing that we're all in this boat together. Okay, no matter what our level is, we're all in this boat together, and we can all help each other, and we're far better off helping each other than we are, fighting with each other, anyway, so with that, we'll sign off.